What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Joe Welkie. This is the Dating is Hard podcast. This is a podcast that's all about dating, relationships, love, sex, all that stuff, all that goody. Wow, that was really a weird intro. Anyway, if you want updates on the show, follow at Dating is Hard Comedy on Instagram. If you want updates about me, you can follow me on Instagram at Joe Welkie. The Dating is Hard live show is every fourth Wednesday at 9:30 at Pack Theater in Hollywood. It is a pay-what-you-can theater, so that means it's by donation. If you can afford to just throw in a few bucks for the show, that goes a long way in helping the theater keep running. But if you absolutely cannot, guess what? You're still invited. You can still come to this show. On today's episode, it's a good one. So if you're not privy to what's been going on the Dating is Hard podcast, I have created a bunch of dating app profiles for the podcast specifically. I put like, hey, read my profile, and then in the About Me section, I say like, hey, I'm looking for people to come on my podcast that have some interesting stories, that have stuff to share and opinions that they want to get out in the world. And as you can imagine, it's a little tough to find some people to do that because, I record this out of my apartment, and trying to prove that you're not a creep or a murderer or something really sinister, it's tough out there, you know? But luckily, I've had some great people come on the podcast, as you know, if you've been listening. And today, this is my first foray into this, but I have two guests on the podcast. Two lovely ladies named Rose and Daisy. I had originally matched with Daisy on Bumble and was talking to her about the podcast, and she was like, hey, is it cool if my friend comes with me just to make sure that there's nothing fishy going on? I was like, absolutely. You totally bring whoever you want. I want to make sure everybody's on the up and up. And then in my little meeting before the podcast with them, I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't you just both do it? You both have some interesting stories. You both got some funny takes on the world of dating. And you guys are about to find out why, because we get into a little bit of debate. There's some stuff that they think that I'd never even heard about that before, or would never fathom doing that. So let's get into it. I hope you guys enjoy this interview with Rose and Daisy. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Dating is Hard podcast. It's a podcast about dating and relationships, love, sex, all that good stuff. Today, in my quest to have the most interesting people in the world that I can find off of Bumble, this is a first. I have two guests today. Today I have Daisy. Say hello.
Hi.
I have Daisy and her friend Rose.
Hi.
This is a thing. So on my Bumble app, I try to make people so comfortable and try and be like as upfront about this as possible, where I'm like, here's my Instagram, you can stalk me. Here's the show's Instagram, you can stalk that. Here's my website, you can stalk that. Here's where the podcast is being hosted, you can check that out. And it is so unfortunate that I need to record this out of my apartment right now. Because it just feels weird to have people like, hey, I'm recording a podcast. It's all about dating, and I'd love to have you on. You want to come over to my apartment?
Yeah.
So I remember I was originally messaging Daisy here, and I was like, we're going to meet up and do this podcast. I recorded out of my apartment. She was like, oh, can I bring a friend?
To make sure. Not a crazy person.
You're not going to murder it. If you're going to murder people, you're going to have to at least murder two. So.
Yeah, make it as inconvenient as possible for you.
Exactly. So this is the first. We got two people on. It's going to be a good time. So you're both on dating apps currently, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How long have each of you been on them?
So I've been on them since 2013.
2013.
Yes.
Straight. This is Daisy.
Yes. I mean, on and off, obviously.
Okay.
Because, like,
you've been on them for 6 years straight?
Well, on and off because, like, obviously every now and then, like, you'll start dating someone. So you, like, delete the apps and whatnot. But some, shit happens. So you end up back on them.
I mean, I've been on dating apps since, 2013 too.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, but I've dated for like 2 years seriously with someone, so I was off them for those 2 years.
Yeah.
So I just recently started again.
Well, that makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense. I was like, man, Daisy, like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm just crazy. Like,
So are you guys liking, is Bumble the only one that you're on? Or are you on a bunch of different ones?
Oh, no, I'm on a bunch of different ones. I'm on OkCupid. I'm on Plenty of Fish, Bumble,
Plenty of Fish.
Tinder.
Whoa,
Yeah.
blast from the past. I haven't been on, that was one of the first ones that I remember getting on. And I first started getting on dating apps when I was a senior in college in 2011. And back then it was just Plenty of Fish and OkCupid. And boy,
Don't really use
Plenty of Fish.
It's just an app that is there.
Yeah, Plenty of Fish. The pickings were slim.
Yeah. I prefer OkCupid just because of all the questions that are super detailed and like things that I've never even thought about to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I think OkCupid is really good for that because you can fill out a whole profile. It gives people more of a
I like when people comment in their answers too.
Yeah. Because it's actually like they read your profile.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times on Bumble and Tinder, like nobody's actually reading that, and it's just.
I read it.
I read it.
I
read it.
I feel like that's where a bunch of people fuck up is that they won't put anything in their profile, and that's actually pretty important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
As I've found, because I was trying to get people on a podcast, and you wouldn't believe how many people I would get messages from them, and it's like they hadn't read my profile, and they're like, "So you're not here to date?" I put.
It's everything there.
Please
Everything's
read my
there.
profile.
Yeah.
It's a picture of me with a computer and microphone.
Yeah. Yep.
But
it's very important to have information and actually read the information. Like I read all of the stuff that's on there. Like even if it's like a paragraph, it's a whole like novel. Like obviously if you see the picture, you're interested in someone, you gotta see if you're gonna be able to like vibe with them and get along.
do you do that too?
Well, I read the stuff. Most of the time I'm just swiping left though.
Oh.
So like
picky.
it's not because I'm picky. It's just that like I just like swiping the thing. So it's like if I swipe right, it's like I read your thing because you caught my eye.
Yeah.
But if not, I just no.
Well, I feel like that's initially like everyone's. You judge them by how they look, and then when you match, it's like, oh, okay, let's read what they.
Yeah.
Go to the next step.
I feel like you probably get into like where you swipe right because you think they're good looking, and then you read their profile and you're like, oh, this person's a horrible monster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unmatch.
That happens sometimes, and I do unmatch people that I've matched with because of that sometimes.
I mean, that happens a lot, especially because that happened with me even when I started doing this podcast thing where I would have matches and then like 5 minutes later that person unmatched me because I have the push notifications on my phone.
That's nothing. I actually, when I first moved out here, I did go on a date with a guy from Bumble, and I used to have like on the very top line, like if you're looking for a hookup, just swipe left because that's not gonna happen. This guy swiped right and asked me to dinner. We went to dinner, we had Thai food, and then like the whole night he was just trying to convince me to go over to his place. He had bought a bottle of tequila, and I was like, no, like I work tomorrow anyways, also I don't know you, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like gave him the whole spiel, and then we left, and I hadn't even left the parking lot, and he unmatched me because I didn't hook up with him. Like I didn't go to his place to hook up with him. So like he unmatched me in the parking lot.
Damn, that is like an immediate, like instant. I won't say gratification, but it's like an instant. You know what the fuck is up.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't really care because I took home all the leftovers. So you know what? I ate. I don't care. And he paid. So I usually don't let people pay, but he was giving me like, I'm a douche and just trying to get in your pants vibe. So when it's like that, then I'll be like, you know what?
Well, especially if someone's not reading a profile that's like, hey, I'm not here to hook up, and then he's like, oh, I'm not either. Come out to dinner.
Exactly.
And then the whole time at dinner he's like, so what's your pussy like or whatever.
Exactly. So like, I totally let him just pay for dinner. Like I usually prefer to go halvesies on everything. Like we'll just split the bill at the end or whatever. I don't mind doing that.
So,
but with him,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, my thing is usually like the first date, I will just do it, and then I think that's like the common thing of like first date the guy pays, and then further along down the line once you're like, oh, we're dating now, then you start to like kind of split stuff because it's like, okay, you're not trying to whatever impress or whatever, but
maybe that's what's wrong like with me dating, because like I don't even on the first. I prefer to split everything.
I don't care. Like if you're gonna pay for my food, pay for my food. Like that's fine, that's great. But it's like if I have to pay for my own food, I also don't care.
That's not like a deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any like specific deal breakers that like if it's somebody looks like X or if they say X?
I have a deal breaker when someone is named after a family member.
Same.
I can't date them.
Yep.
It's just like not possible.
Same.
No
Also,
matter how cute the person is, like I can't.
Also,
go
their names, like I'm very particular about their names too, just because.
This is so bizarre to me. Like the family member thing I get. I have a sister named Mary, and I could never date anybody named Mary. But you guys just have general names that...
Well, because my friends, their names are like specific. So like if I'm talking to my friend, I'm going to think of the other person, and I don't want that. Like I just don't. That's why I just don't swipe because I don't want to deal with it.
Also,
There'd be too many people. There'd be too many people with the same name in my life, and
also,
I'm not about
exes,
that.
like...
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've dated enough Matts to be like, if his name is Matt, fuck you. Like,
I'm not that extreme, but yeah.
I've gotten to the point where like, just like it just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Somebody on a previous podcast was talking about how like if someone's named Josh, just fuck that guy. And I was like, really?
Well, now fuck Matts.
Yeah.
In this podcast,
all right, Matts, you're out.
Matts and Josh's. Like,
he's just gonna start putting up a list here. Like Matt's done, Josh's you canceled.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been that hurt to like have that experience.
After 3 Matts, I feel like you would.
Just blame all the
After
Matts.
no Matts being able to be faithful, like I feel like you'd be like, okay,
man.
that's a
I
pattern.
mean, I guess that would.
That makes
That's
sense.
a pattern.
That's
Like maybe I should just stop dating Matts altogether. Well, so I did.
I'm not giving any Matts a chance.
No more. Sorry, Matts.
That's so
Matthews.
brutal. Poor Matts. I feel bad for everybody named Matt now. You guys are... Well, what's your names that you were just, like, done with, Rose?
Well, because, like, I have friends. I have, like, a friend named Kevin and another friend named Kevin. And, like, I always get matches from, like, I always get, like, people on my thing named Kevin. And every single time I see the name Kevin, I'm like, nope, I can't. I can't. It reminds me of the other person, and the other person's kind of annoying to me, so I just can't.
Also, Brian's.
Brian's
Not because I dated them, but because my best friend in New Jersey, his name is Brian, and I can only have one Brian in my life. That's him. And even if I see someone like named Brian, and especially if it's Brian with a Y, like there's only one true way to spell Brian. It's with an I.
Oh, shit. Brian with a Y. So get the fuck out of here. Get your whack-ass spelling. Pieces of shit. This is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
You guys are eliminating off of things that their parents made decisions.
It's like not even their fault, and I know it's ridiculous.
So they cannot
really
help
isn't
that
their
at all.
fault.
Like I can
Oh, they can't have the same name as my dad either.
What's
Either
your
one
dad's
of them.
name?
I have. So I was adopted when I was like 13.
Okay.
His name is Eric,
Mm-hmm.
and then my biological dad's name is Aiden.
Oh, how old is your biological dad?
My biological dad?
Yeah.
He is. I don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden, I feel like is a pretty new age, like name. I don't think I know anyone named Aiden that is over 16 years old. You know? Your dad must have been the first.
There was I feel like there was a wave of people naming their kids Aiden. So
yeah, that's like a new age. Like, it was like Aiden and Madison for a while were like the most popular names.
My baby sister, the youngest one, her name is Madison.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I can never date a woman named Madison because I just heard that.
Me neither. Me neither.
So Daisy, you've been here for about a year, you said, right?
Yes,
How
a
long
little
have
over
you?
a year.
How long have you been here, Rose? In LA.
Most of my life. I was born here.
Oh, okay.
Your whole life?
Yeah.
So
Well, not my whole life. I lived in Seattle for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't like it, so I came back. I actually liked the weather, but I didn't.
You
like
liked the weather?
I
in
did.
Seattle?
I don't like sunny weather because I'm always hot. Like I run hot.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
like going
I
to
tried
like
to-
from the cool to the hot is just not.
Yeah, that's the
something I
problem
like.
with this podcast. It's like I always walk in here and it's always so cold in my apartment. But as soon as I start this, it just gets so much warmer for some reason. I don't understand why. But I get pretty sweaty.
Yeah. Probably because it gets exciting.
Yeah, it's like you're talking, you know?
Listen up.
So, do you guys remember your first experiences with dating apps? You remember maybe your first date or...
Oh, I remember my first.
You
date.
remember your first date, okay. Do you remember what app was it? Where'd you go?
It
What
was on
happened?
a. You know what? It wasn't on an it wasn't in an app because I didn't have a cell phone. It was like when I was younger. I didn't have a cell phone, so I was using the computer, and I was
Oh.
like in those chats to like.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I was
What, like a
just-
chat room?
Yeah, like I was in a chat room.
Omegle?
Sort of.
What?
It was like
Roulette or
weird.
something?
It was like a weird. I don't know. I don't think it exists anymore. But
Like an AOL chat room?
sort of. It had its own website and everything.
Did it
so
have
was-
penguins on it?
No,
Okay.
it was not. Yeah, called penguins. It was where I met someone. No, but it was like a spot for teens. It was just like a teen chat room.
I never
This
knew
sounds
about
like
this.
some To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
Right?
stuff.
It was sketchy. I know, but like I didn't care when I was younger. I was like, whatever, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
And I met them at the park.
Wow.
Totally not sketchy.
Yeah, like totally not sketchy. Like just went, and it was an okay time for when I was younger. Like I was talking to him. I was like, "How old are you?"
Did he try to make you blow him?
No,
Oh.
that was
Wow,
not
that
the
was
not the
fucking-
goal right there. But like, yeah, I guess.
Well, how
Well,
old
when you
were-
meet a stranger from the internet, like, you
Well,
know,
yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you end
that's
up on a
happened to me
podcast.
before.
How old were you when this happened?
I was around 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just...
You
Yeah.
met someone off the internet when you were 16?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to do that all the time. When MySpace was huge. That's how I met a lot of people back when I was a first internet little darling.
Yeah,
or
I got my
whatever.
ass beat.
You got your ass beat from the internet?
My mom.
Oh.
When she found out.
Oh.
I was like,
When she
wait a
found
second.
out I
Wow,
was
who'd
on
you
the...
meet up with?
Sounds hot.
No, my mom found out I was trying to date. And I was in like middle school. I had like a little boyfriend. He didn't even go to the same school.
Well, how did you meet up with him?
I didn't.
It was just the attempt that your mom was like, hey, why are you even trying this?
Well, no, because I've always been like hypersexual.
Oh,
so
shit.
like
All right.
we'd always be like talking dirty or sexy.
Oh my god, same.
But I was like
Yeah,
in middle
that's
school. I was in middle school, so my mom found out she like beat me like bad. Like
My parents.
It's a
never
good
found out.
mother.
That was not. My parents never found out about those things. I used to sneak out at night.
So, yeah, what happened with the park?
Oh well, I met him at the park. I ditched school that day too.
You ditched school
Yeah.
to meet an internet person
Yeah.
in a park.
Yeah, I don't like. I never liked school.
Who
hey,
likes
at
school?
least it was in a public place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
I
at
was
least it was in
I
a
was
park.
not about to meet that guy like in his house or something.
Yeah,
Like, it was
fuck
not
that.
gonna happen. You know.
Of course that's smart for a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, you met him at the park.
I met him at the park, and we ended up going. I don't know where we ended up going. I don't even remember where we like met up again. But we like talked to each other for a really long time. He just talked to me that day. It wasn't even like uncomfortable or anything. We actually had like a good conversation and everything. I found out he was a creep like later on.
That initial meeting was
That
nice.
initial meeting was nice, but he was a creep.
So did you meet up with him again ever?
Yeah, he
And
was
you
like
guys
my
were just, like-
boyfriend. Like he called me his girlfriend.
Wow.
Like it
Is
was
this
the
a
thing.
stalker?
It was no.
Okay.
I had a stalker too.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So wait, hold on. How long were you seeing that person for?
2 years.
2 years. The park guy.
Yeah, 16 to 17.
Damn.
Listen up, everybody. Meet people in parks. That's the hot romance spot.
Right there.
PSA,
When you're
don't
16.
meet people in parks.
Well, how did he end up being a creep?
Well, he was just a bad guy. Before, when I used to ditch school just to meet up with him, and we would go to like parties in the middle of the day. And it was weird because I've never
Who has
done.
a party in the
That's
middle
what
of
I
the
said.
day?
I was like, why am I here?
Well, what kind of parties was it?
Well,
Like house parties.
Like house parties?
Yeah.
Just like everybody getting trashed?
it was a bunch of old people. There was like older people. And I was like, I'm 16 and I'm here. This is probably a bad situation.
That's like that Simpsons meme. I'm in danger.
Yeah, like, literally me in his car, just like, wow, I should not be doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's balls that you were just like, number one, I'm going to skip school. You were kind of a badass as well.
I didn't like school.
Well, nobody likes school.
Yeah, but like I knew I wasn't gonna graduate from high school the minute I went into high school. Like
Okay.
I already knew that, and I was like begging my parents to let me get my GED, and they just wouldn't let me do that. So I just never went to school.
Okay. So then you were just ditching them for parties.
Yeah, and I went to parties in the morning, and they were like weird parties.
In the
'cause-
morning? Hold on.
Like it was in the morning.
thought it was
in the
middle
morning
of the day, now it's in
Hold
the
up.
morning.
Let me explain
Nice
this better
AM
because I'm
parties.
so bad at explaining this. In the mornings we would hang out like normal, and then in the afternoons we would go places. So like in the afternoons he'd be like, it was like 1 o'clock, and I was like, I have to go home soon because
Yeah.
like I'm supposed to be out of school, and he'd be like, no, I don't, like, hang out with me, and I'd be like, I have to go.
So, like, kidnapping?
Wow.
It was basically that until like
Kidnapping?
I was done after like hanging out with him.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This guy
That's
must have been
scary.
hot as fuck.
He kind of was.
Look, he got the right swipe in a chat room. That's what. What about you? Do you remember your first kind of online dating or just dating? Well, yeah, I guess online dating experience.
So online dating, let's see. I started online dating after I broke up with my first boyfriend, and we had dated for almost 3 years.
3 years. Well, how old were you when you guys ended things?
I was 18.
Okay, so you started dating when you were 15,
Like, yeah,
16,
15
15-ish.
turning 16, yeah,
Yeah.
around there, around that age.
and then you hopped on the old
And then
apps.
I did. I
Okay,
started
Cupid, plenty of fish.
OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, Tinder.
Was Tinder around back then?
It was.
It was.
Pretty
See,
sure.
I'm so fucking old.
Yeah.
I was on dating apps before that shit was a thing. Like, I was going to okcupid.com, like, before it was
Same.
an app.
I did
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But-
do you remember any of, like, your first dates?
Yeah, I had one first date. He was a nice dude. We got along really well. He was older. He was in the Navy. But like our dates were really nice. He'd like always try to help me out. Like if I needed help with like I used to take care of my siblings a lot.
Mhm.
So sometimes I'd be like, oh, I just need to run errands or like do this or do that, and he'd help me out. And it was great. But he proposed to me.
How long? Do you guys hear, like, construction going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was going crazy for a second.
Yeah.
So is there fucking... So he proposed. How long were you guys, like, going out?
We had only been going out for 2-3 months.
Whoa. You must be, like, super awesome to date.
I
And
know. He proposed to you after 2 months.
Just
Like,
proposed
wow.
to you after 2 months.
And he was like even trying to convince me like you won't have to worry about paying for school. Like I'll give you my I forget what it's called, GI Bill.
Oh, okay. Yes.
He's like, I'll give you one of my GI Bills. Like you don't have to worry about anything. But I'm like, when I'm dating someone, it's not because of what they can give me. Like
Yeah. Well, how old was he?
he was 20 something.
Okay.
In his 20s, around there.
It's funny because, like, one of the people that I had on an earlier episode said that she got on dating apps when she was 16
No.
and said that she was 18.
Oh,
And then
no.
ended up dating a guy that was like 23.
No.
And he was like,
That's-
yeah, I'm cool with that.
No.
And I was like, bro, the
That's
law is not
bad.
cool
I mean,
with
the
that
guy
shit.
I dated was like 25.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, what is up with all this illegal shit going on in the world?
I mean, no one really paid attention to me as a child, so it was like,
Man.
Can't relate. Well, actually,
Parents listening to this, pay attention to your children. They're at risk.
And also, I was just like a sneaky person in general.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like people knowing my business anyway.
Yeah.
and
So
you're
it's like-
quiet. to
And I'm
begin
quiet,
with.
so everybody thinks I'm like
Yeah,
an
everyone-
innocent child.
Yeah,
but that wasn't.
We
what I
all
was
know the
doing.
secret here at the Dating is Hard podcast.
Rose is wild, man. So, she's a wild one.
So you've been on dating apps for several years.
Mm-hmm.
How's the experience been recently? Is it any good first dates coming out recently? Or
I
any?
hate it.
It's been
honestly.
declining more and more as
Really?
the years pass by. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people have just lost their faith or whatever. They just don't care.
Their faith in love or faith in meeting people?
All of the above. I feel like, to be honest, because one of my cousins she got on OkCupid because she's looking for something very specific.
Uh-huh.
She's vegan. She's looking for someone who's vegan, and vegan not just for the environment but for the animals.
Yeah.
Like that's very big, like for the animals for
Mhm.
her. And so I told her like you might find someone there, because anytime I go with her to like a vegan street fair, or like she won't talk to anyone. She's like, "We're here for food," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you can kill two birds with one stone. You
Yeah,
can talk to someone, and
definitely.
meet someone. You never know." And so she recently got on, and she went on a date, and we sometimes meet up at the movie theater, like me and her. Like we'll try to coordinate because we have the AMC A list.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
we try to watch movies every week.
That's nice. That's a nice little
It's
family
nice.
meetup.
It's nice. So like she messaged me one day. She's like, "Hey, I'm about to watch this movie at this time. If you want to go." And I was like, "Sure." And then I pull up there. I'm walking to the theater. And she's like, "Oh, by the way, homeschool is here." So we gave this guy that she had matched with
Mm-hmm.
the nickname of homeschool because he was homeschooled,
Okay.
obviously.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" Like,
Was this the 1st
You're-
date?
yeah, the first
She brought
date.
you to the
The
first
first
date.
date, and I was like, So I was like, okay. So like we watched the movie, we sat down, but like the whole time I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that he was wearing basketball shorts and slides, no socks on, so his crusty toes were like really
Oh.
crusty. And I'm like, he obviously does not care about
Yeah.
like first impressions or anything.
I could never
Like
imagine.
if you're gonna try to
Uh-huh.
date someone, like try a little.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
put on some actual
So
pants with a zipper.
Going back to deal breakers.
Yeah, I just thought that was like common sense, but I guess not for most of these
See,
people.
I think it's because he's homeschooled. He doesn't know.
Oh, that's true. His parent could be a weirdo.
His
Sounds-
parents could be weirdos.
Yeah, they could have instilled weirdo vibes into him. You never know.
That's true.
And I think it was also because, like, I feel like that's a social norm. Like,
Yeah.
we just teach each other, like, hey, when you're gonna be meeting someone for the first time and you want to impress them, like, dress up.
Wear pants.
Yeah.
Wear.
Socks or
Shoes.
don't show your toes.
Yeah,
Like,
your toes are so gross. I don't understand.
oh,
foot
another
fetishes.
thing. Oh my God. Another deal breaker. Sorry, I'm like going on a
Oh,
rant.
yeah,
Deal
go
breakers.
for it.
Deal breakers, man.
I went on a date not that long ago. I went on a double date because I was like at the point where I didn't want to meet guys alone. Like,
Yeah.
because I go through phases where I'm like, I don't trust anyone.
Mhm.
So like I went on a double date with my cousin and
Was this
their
the first date?
their significant other, yeah.
This is
And
balls.
so,
I don't,
like-
dude, from a guy's perspective, if it's a first date and someone's like, hey, you want to go on a double date with me and my cousin and her, I guess, boyfriend or whatever, I'd be like,
no, see,
no, thank you.
they're boyfriends.
Oh.
So like that also makes me gauge them for like how they feel about like
Oh, okay, if they're homophobic
Yes.
or not or something.
yes, it
Alright.
helps me gauge them as a person as well. Because my cousin and his boyfriend, they don't make you feel awkward when they're around them. Like
Yeah.
they're just like literally like bros.
Okay.
So like it wasn't that big of a deal. I feel like, but like the thing that bugged me the most is he didn't wear deodorant.
Oh,
And-
man.
So hygiene.
Yes.
So hygiene's important.
You know what's crazy is like I feel like a lot of these deal breakers, like I feel like they wouldn't even need to be said because it's common sense kind of stuff. Like
You
don't
would
wear
think.
basketball shorts, wear deodorant, be presentable at least. But then there's some people that they're just don't give a fuck.
No.
That's
Yeah, no.
crazy.
And then the worst part is this guy, when we went into the reclining seats, right?
Oh, okay.
And then like I got cold, so I like started putting on my jacket, and he's all like, why are you gonna put on your jacket? You have human heat. And then he like lifted his arm and was like, no, thank you.
He tried to like snuggle.
He was like trying to put his arm around me, and I was like, no, thank you. Like,
Bro, I would snuggle you, but you smell like shit.
like, oh god, yeah, no, it was bad.
That
It was bad.
sucks.
So
How about you, Rose?
Oh my god.
Any recent?
Not recently, because it's been too soon for me to want to go on dates. Because most of the guys I meet on Tinder, they're always like pervs.
Yeah.
So
well,
like
Tinder's kind of like a pervy app.
Yeah, so it's like I don't trust it, so I don't ever go. But before, I went out on a date once, and like I don't drive
Okay.
because lots of problems. But I don't drive.
Paralysis behind the wheel.
Yeah, like I just don't like it. So this time I decided to drive like to this date on my own. But like
Wait,
I had
so you know how to drive?
I know how to drive enough
And
to
you
not
have a car.
die. I had a car, not anymore.
Oh, boy.
It broke
Well-
down. Like
Oh, yeah. So is this why you don't drive?
the car died.
it died. Like I didn't have it. But like I drove that car. I gave my cousin my location. Like I told him like I'm going here. Like if I don't come back, know that I was here. And I went, but it was weird because I had to pick the guy up. Like he didn't pick me up. So like yeah,
I don't like when guys pick me up.
Yeah, well, because then they know where you live.
that's
Yeah.
true. But
Also, if I want to leave, I can just leave.
Yeah.
when-
well, yeah. I mean, I didn't think about that. I was just like, I'm gonna go, just because I hadn't been really dating.
Mhm.
And we went to like, I asked where he wanted to go, and I was expecting to go like to a movie or something, like to like the Burbank, because that's
And he's
where
like,
I
no,
always
we're
go.
gonna stay in the car parked right here. In this
No,
car.
no. He was like,
can't leave
we're gonna go to
empty cars
Taco
locked.
Bell.
Oh, fucking dude, I just came back from the
that's
Taco
nice.
Bell
That's
hotel.
not bad.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. You got the mug and everything,
Oh,
baby.
nice. Souvenirs
Yeah,
over
it was
here.
dope. Oh yeah, I'm full of souvenirs. That's nice. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack about my like.
Yeah, I can
vacation.
see the pillow over there.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Taco Bell merch. So you went to Taco Bell?
Yeah, we went to Taco Bell on a date. It was nice. We ate. It was good. And then after, he was like, "Oh, let's park over there." And I was like, "Oh, I know where this is heading." Like I knew where that was heading.
As soon as a guy says, like, oh,
I was
that's,
like,
that's what you're trying to do now. Cool.
Yeah, and I'm like not the type of person to be like, no, because when I like to talk to someone, I talk to them.
Yeah.
And like I knew where that was heading, so I was like, okay, I guess we'll park over here.
Oh man.
And like, he didn't initiate anything because he was just talking to me.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, I mean, I guess I'll give this guy what he wants because like I'm here.
No, yeah, no, I've done that.
Yeah.
Too. Just like you might as well.
Yeah.
Like, if that's all that's all.
Because that's all they were there for.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wasn't there for that. But like, I was like, okay, well, I'll just give this a try.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Well, I mean,
but like,
if you're not into it.
yeah, I wasn't into it. And
Yeah.
it was
But
like, no.
that
But then
actually
he became my
happens, I feel
stalker.
Oh.
So
No, that was a
that's my stalker.
Taco Bell stalker.
My Taco Bell stalker.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just hate hearing that so much where it's just like, well, I was just there and it was like, might as well, you know? Because you want to have more faith in people to not put other people in uncomfortable situations like that. But the more and more I talk to people, the more and more I realize like that happens so often. And it just sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
Especially for like us, or sometimes it's like, so I don't really date like really buff guys.
Well, sorry, I'm out.
No, because like buff guys are like strong, right? So they can overpower you, and there's sometimes where you just let it happen. Where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I feel like I might be in danger if I try to say no, or like, you know.
Yeah.
it's
So you don't say no because you don't want
So
to.
you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
like fuck it, like.
It sucks.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry on behalf of
Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something we like. Just it's a risk that
We
we
take.
take
Yeah.
when we date. That's why I actually don't meet a lot of people, and that's like, I really hate that guys are like no pen pals, blah blah blah. But like, it takes a while for me to actually trust people enough to meet them in person.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's a big leap. You're meeting a stranger
especially when
from the internet.
Especially when they want to meet one-on-one. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's not something that I'm
See, like, going back to the double date thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why
Yeah.
sometimes you go on double dates.
That's why
because-
more people should be okay with going on double dates.
Well,
I feel like.
and this is just like my thing. I don't know. if
Or
other
group dates. You know, it doesn't even have to be like another couple. Like, maybe like, oh yeah, let's just plan a date, go to like, I don't know, city walk or. Like,
I feel like if I suggested that to a woman, they'd be like freaked out and like weirded out, because meeting the friends is usually like a next step, a thing where it's like, oh, I'm part of the group now, you know. And if I were to suggest that right from the get-go, it seems like we're already skipping we're meeting and seeing that we know each other kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, if you
from a safety standpoint, I guess
if you
I
put all the
understand
cards
it.
on the table, or give them the option, like, hey, if you would feel more comfortable, if guys were to be like, hey, if you'd feel more comfortable, like, to meet up as a group, like, you can have some of your friends, and like, I'll invite some of my friends. We'll just.
Yeah.
We'll all
I
go
feel
as a
like,
group.
yeah, exactly.
Plus, it's also like, to me, like, if you're meeting their friend group, they're your friends for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like,
You
it's
can
a
kind
good
of
thing.
gauge who they are off of their friends.
Out of their
too.
friends.
And people always act different around their friends. So
Uh-huh.
I've had instances where, like, I really, really liked a guy, but as soon as he was with his friends, he'd be like a completely different person.
Oh,
Just
I hate
completely
that.
turns me off.
Yeah.
So I'd like having that option to see him around his friends. I'd be like, oh, like, okay, like, I'll get to see if I actually like him.
Yeah, that
like,
makes sense.
even when he's with his friends.
Maybe I'll try that. I'll be like, hey, you want to come meet my best friend?
Well, no, because
and
like
his girlfriend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you just say your
It's like,
friend,
yeah,
she'll
yeah.
might be. I'd think like, oh, he's trying to have
It's
like a
like a
threesome.
2-on-1 or
like,
something.
Yeah.
So wait, how did the Taco Bell guy become a stalker?
He had, like, I've known him since middle school.
Oh, so you knew this guy previously, then you saw him.
Okay, but, like, this is the thing.
But she didn't know him.
I
in middle
didn't know
school.
him. I hung out with him. Like, we were in the same friend group, but I just didn't know him. I forgot about him. Like, I met him again in high school, and I was like, oh, that's who you are. Because he had, like, punched me in the gut in middle school. Like, he had punched me in the gut, and I was like, oh, wow, you're an asshole. And so I met him again, and he was, like, all shy, and, like he just didn't talk.
Didn't punch you in the gut.
Like, he
once.
didn't, yeah.
Maybe that's why you didn't recognize
Like,
him.
yeah.
He didn't punch you in the gut.
Yeah, that's why. But yeah, so like he was quiet and he was kind of shy, and I was like, I sort of remember your face, but I'm not sure it's you. So like,
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna talk to you because I don't care. Like, he approached me,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't remember who you are. Like, I literally said it. Like, I was like, I don't know who you are. And he was like, yeah, I've had a crush on you since middle school. And I was like,
Maybe that's
okay,
why
is that
he
why you
punched
punched me in the gut? Like, as soon as he said that, like, it flashed back to me about who he was. So I was like, you punched me in the stomach. You're a dick. Like, why would I?
Why would I date you?
Why would I date you?
Yeah.
But like, I felt really comfortable with him because we were friends.
Yeah,
like,
you already had like
like,
a
we had, like,
established.
yeah.
You knew that he wasn't like a. Well.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
But like, he ended up being like, but like.
You thought that you knew.
But like, I thought, and it was really good conversation. Like, I felt so comfortable. I've never felt comfortable with someone, like, talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
So like, him, it was easy just like talking. And that's why I thought, like, oh, I'll just give him a chance because he's like we have
Yeah.
good chemistry.
You got that good banter going.
Yeah, but like, no, he was
Banter's
just
very important.
Yeah.
too.
Banter is the most important. I
Yeah.
feel like.
literally.
Definitely.
Because if like you can't talk to me, then it's like, why are we?
If I feel like I'm walking on eggshells with everything I say around you.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No, I don't. Yeah. So like, we talked, and then he asked me out on a date,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, I'll pick you up. Like, we'll go.
Went
And
to Taco Bell.
We went to
Baja
Taco Bell,
blasted.
you know.
Baja blast.
And then after that, like, it was weird because he wouldn't stop texting me, and like it wasn't normal conversation. Like, before we used to talk like normal, and I guess now is weird because we had like done stuff, so he wouldn't leave me alone.
Oh man.
Oh, he was like addicted.
Yeah, and like
had
he
a little
showed
taste
up.
of rose. I need some more.
He had a kiss from a rose. You know what I'm saying?
And then, so, like, he would show up to my house, and he'd stand out of there for, like, a little, and be like, hey, I'm outside. I'm like, okay,
Why?
but, like, why?
Were we supposed to hang out?
It's like, why? I didn't tell you to come over. Like, why are you here?
I also don't want to see you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
go away.
I literally was like, I don't want to see you, and I also didn't ask you to come over. So why are you here?
Yeah.
He's like, I thought we could talk, and I'm like, I don't want to.
Did they ever show up with like a boombox?
No, but he was literally like, because my apartment building, it's like, I'm here, and the door to the gate's like right there, so I can see everybody standing.
You can see everybody
outside,
at the gate.
At the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just there, and he would like stare
Lord.
at my like window.
Oh my god.
And it was weird. It was like uncomfortable.
It's
and
like
I was
old
like,
90s movies, like throwing rocks at your window or whatever. Just like, run.
well, it was a good thing he could never get in. But like,
I feel like if he really wanted to, he could.
He
That's
would've,
a tiny
yeah.
ass gate.
It really is. Yeah.
So we would just show up
He'd show up,
unannounced and then
Stand
be like,
outside
"Yo,
on
what's
the
up?"
street.
stand outside,
On the
and
street.
chill there.
On the
He's
other
like,
side
fuck,
of the
I
fence.
needed to get groceries, but I guess not anymore.
Well, I'd always tell my friend, I'd be like, hey, can you pick me up like inside my apartment building? Because I'm not going outside right now. There's a
Holy
creep
shit.
outside. And he was like, yeah. And I like blocked him out of everything.
And then he made a new account.
And then he made a new account. He messaged me.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just last week.
That's
Oh, it's a
there's a
different
different
stalker?
time.
It's a
No, it's the
different
same stalker,
stalker?
but like
Okay.
there was a
it's-
different time before that. I had to block him twice before this time.
You guys are like the most lovable. You're just like, everyone immediately falls. You got proposed to after 3 months. You have a
Yeah.
stalker.
Yeah.
God. I need to get some of your guys. Can you give me some of your charm?
The guy that proposed me actually still messages me every now and then. He's like, "Are you sure?"
How long ago was
Like,
that?
I think he messaged me like a year ago. Like I had just moved out here,
Wow.
and he messaged me again, and I was like, "Dude, this was like 2013. Get over it." He's like, I think he's like in Florida now, like.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'll send you screenshots of how much money I'm making now, and I'm like, I've never cared about how much money you're making,
Yeah.
dude. Like.
Well, didn't you? When we were talking before we started recording, you said that you've been proposed to like 3 times, right?
Yes. Yes.
What happened? How did the
So
other 2
the
times go
ironic
down?
part is the reason I broke up with my first boyfriend of like almost 3 years was because he told me he never wanted to get married with me ever. So
He was also 18 years old.
no, he
17.
was older.
Oh, right.
He was
yeah.
like 3 years older than me. So I was
Okay.
18. 19,
So there was some
20,
illegal
21.
shit going on.
Well, no, we started dating while we were in high school,
Yeah.
and we were in Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a-
It's
there's-
different country, pretty much.
There's a Romeo and Juliet law. So like
Yeah.
if you were dating before, it's fine. Whatever.
Okay. So
So he.
that was the irony, and now you're just getting
Yes,
proposed to left
I
and
was
right.
getting proposed to by a bunch of people. One of them, I know for a fact, he just wanted to get. He was a military dude. Military dudes love proposing.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So,
that is
like-
something I know for a fact.
But
Military dudes are
the one in the
about that
Navy, he
life.
actually genuinely liked me. But the reason that didn't work out was because he reminded me of Charlie Sheen's brother on 2.5 Men.
Oh no, John Cryer.
And I could never unsee that as soon as I saw it, I was never able to unsee it.
Oh man.
And also
that's
he
such
had a
shame.
funny looking penis, so.
Oh, does that happen a lot?
Funny looking penises? Yeah.
Yeah, that just sucks. Like,
Funny looking penises happens.
this is like so telling now because of everything that's happened. But Louis C.K. used to have a bit about how like you should show a woman your dick before anything. Just be like, hey, is this gonna be okay? But now it's just like, well, of course Louis C.K. thought that because that's what he was fucking doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's such a surprise. You don't know what you're getting into until it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, I was once about to hook up with a guy, and he was so small, and
My
he
heart
was
goes
like,
out to that.
he was like 3, maybe 4 inches, like full on hard. Supposedly, I never saw it like that, cause like he just couldn't get hard enough.
No.
I have
Bad.
to imagine that's like there's like a self-consciousness once you just are like, well, there it is, and then you can tell, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would have been fine if you could get it hard,
Yeah.
but like we couldn't do anything with it because he couldn't get it to be just hard enough to actually penetrate.
Wow.
You know, because with that,
That's
when
brutal.
it's small, like you need as
Yeah.
much as you can to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
do the deed. So.
But
yeah.
that wasn't proposal guy. Proposal
that
guy
wasn't
just had a
proposal guy.
weird dick.
Yeah, it was like mushroom top. And
Oh,
it was
big
like,
head.
Yeah, and it was super like pencil thin, and it was like not even the same girth all the way on the shaft, so it was like really thin on the bottom, but it'd get
thicker
as you got to the top, and I was just like, why?
Why? That was the question.
Wow.
Yeah, like how? Like,
See, I've watched a lot of porn.
same.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a dick like that.
Yeah, it was a shocker for me too because I've been watching porn. I've watched porn. Well, I would like sneak into my one of my uncles used to like rent a room out of like our house. So like when he'd be at work and my mom would be at work, I'd like sneak into his room and like I knew where all his porn was. So I just like I'd play the
Yeah.
So I was in like elementary school. Like I've been watching porn since I was like in elementary school. I was like in like 4th, 5th grade.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I've always been hypersexual. So.
Yeah.
So what happened? Have you, with all these people that have proposed to you, have you ever considered it where you're just like, you know what, I think I could?
No, because I always felt like I was too young. Like I know I want to get married one day, but the only reason I broke up with my first boyfriend was because he told me never, like not ever in the future.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
So.
Well, how old are you now?
I'm 24.
How old are you?
Same age.
24?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think any of that would change if you met somebody now and they were like, hey, you're the one or whatever?
No, because I feel like I'm more guarded than I was before then.
Is it because of all of the proposals and meeting people in parks and stalkings?
Probably, yeah. I'm just
probably, yeah.
Like I've come to the realization that like when I was younger, I'd put myself in a lot of situations and things that I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And that I could have avoided.
Yeah.
So like now I try to be more cautious, but it sucks because I have this one voice that says, be cautious, and then I have one voice that says, you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And then there's that one voice that says, like, you have to stop looking for love and just let it find you. And then there's the one that says, well, it's not gonna find you if
Yeah,
like,
if you're not even out there.
Yeah.
If you're in your
So
home.
I have like these two voices in my head, and they're like,
Well, yeah.
I'm
not a big
like, I don't know
believer
what
in
to
marriage.
do.
Yeah.
So I've never been a big believer in marriage. Everybody in my family's like divorced and like they don't. So it's like I'm like I don't really think about it. Like I don't think you need to be married to show that you love someone.
Oh, I know. I don't
agree
need
100%.
to be married. I just would like it to be more harder on them to leave me.
See, but like that's not a good way of thinking.
Like you can leave me if you want, but it's not gonna be easy.
But there's gonna be paperwork.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a process. You can't just dick.
But I feel like if someone's gonna...
But also I want an excuse to, like, change my name again.
You could just do that.
I know.
You could
but
just,
like,
you could
but
just
there's
legally change your
something
name.
different about taking someone else's name.
What if they had a shitty last name?
Well, that's part of the
Deal breaker?
yeah. The
Wow.
name.
Their last name?
You're eliminating a lot of people. There's no Matts, no Bryans, and people with shitty last names. You're out.
Well, there's not a lot of people with shitty last names, but it's like if they have like the same last name as like my immediate family, like if they're Mendozas or like Padillas, I'm like, we might be related. Like that's we cannot even try. Like
See, my last name is Welkie, and I think it's such a goofy sounding last name that I would feel bad to force that upon another person. If it's just like, hey, if your name is like a good name, and I'm like, no, you're gonna be Emily Welkie from now on. Just like, I would feel really bad to do that to somebody, you know. But if they wanted to, by all means. But
I feel like that's not really like a goofy name though. Like I've seen a lot of weirder names.
oh, there's definitely weirder names. Like, I think so. I'm a comedian, and I think I have a good comedy name. Just be like, hey, give it up for Joe Welkie or whatever. I feel like I could hear that, and it's like, oh, that sounds like somebody that's a comedian.
Oh,
but
okay.
anything else, you know, there's.
Well, my adoptive dad, he used to know a woman by the name of Helva.
Last
Her first name.
Oh, first name.
First
was
name,
Helva.
Helva.
That's pretty badass.
Last name, Conception.
His parents played a cruel joke on Helva.
Yeah.
Helva
Definitely.
Conception.
When my dad told me that, I was like, "You're lying." He's like, "No, I saw like her ID."
Wow.
And I was like, "That is the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life." So when you're talking about goofy names, like I think of names like that. Like
When I was on dating apps last, like actually trying to date people, I met a girl whose name was Crystal Ball.
Oh.
I got
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, she was really nice, but I was like, that cannot be your real name. And she was like, here's my ID. This is 100% my real name. My parents just fucking thought it was funny. I was like, oh,
Well, they're
right.
not wrong. It's funny.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's not like Helva Conception,
Yeah.
but like Crystal Ball, it just seems so convenient and made up, and like no one would ever do that.
Yeah.
That it's just hard to believe, you know?
I mean, I had a teacher in high school. His last name was Wiener,
Oh.
and his first name
See,
was
that's
Harry.
goofy. See,
Oh,
my god!
Yeah, so it was like Harry Wiener.
Oh.
See,
Yeah.
that's a goofy name.
That's what parents who never want their children to succeed.
Yeah. And then his mom worked at our school too, Miss
What was her
Wiener.
name? What
I
was
don't
it?
know. I didn't ask the first name.
Her last name was her first name was Anita or something.
Anita Wiener. That's funny. It probably was.
That's so unfortunate. All right, we're gonna wrap things up pretty shortly. I just got a couple last questions for you guys. What is one thing that you would like to see changed about dating?
People need to be more upfront and stop pretending to be like, oh yeah, like I think I want to find someone that could be in a relationship when you're really just trying to hook up.
Yeah.
Because like if you're just trying to hook up, there are girls that are just trying to freaking hook up. I know, because I have my settings to men and women, because like I swing both ways. So like I definitely have matched with girls, and the very first thing that they've sent me was sex ?
That's the most upfront that you could possibly be.
Exactly, and I appreciate those messages a lot more than people trying to pretend that they're interested in me and what I have to say or think.
See, I think I talked about this previously too. Like, I wanted to create a profile, because a lot of women's profiles on dating apps will say, like, not here for hookups, like you were talking about on OkCupid. I wanted to create a profile and just say, I'm here exclusively for hookups, and see if there are any matches, because I've never seen a woman that has, like, I'm here to hook up or whatever. So I would be curious to see how that would
I think
play
you
out.
should do it, because I definitely think there are women out there who just want to hook up.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe that'll be another experiment on dating apps. Dude, I've experimented a bunch of stuff. Like I have, like I wear glasses and like right now I have contacts in. So one time I created a profile and it was just all pictures of me without my glasses, and then created a profile with pictures of me with my glasses to see. Yeah, like there's definitely differences. I also bleach blonde, dyed my hair blonde.
Oh, that would have been a hard left swipe for me.
Oh. But yeah, I got very different people matching with me when I was a blonde and then brunette. So it's really weird.
I get different matches too, but I feel like, you saw my profile. I have a bunch of different pictures of myself because I have a very versatile style.
Yeah.
So like I get a little bit of everything. Like I get people matching on me just because of the picture where I'm wearing all black and black lipstick.
Yeah.
And then I'll have some people matching me just solely for the picture where I'm like dressed kind of like a pinup girl, like vintagey, style. So like I can definitely see where
You're casting the widest net
but-
possible.
Yeah, but I never tried the glasses thing. Like I never noticed a difference, because I think I have pictures of both with my glasses and without.
It's weird, man. What about you, Rose? What is one thing that you would like to change about dating?
I mean, I would say the same thing.
Just more upfront?
Yeah. And also, like, conversation for me is really important. So it's like, if you're on a dating app and you can't hold a conversation, like, I already can't hold a conversation. Like, I can't to save my life, but like,
She needs a little help.
yeah, like, I always need a little help. So it's like, if it would be refreshing for like a guy to be like, other than being like, hey, be like, hey, what you up to? Like, say something
yeah.
other than hey, because like,
I hate
I'm
one-worded
never gonna
messages. I never
message
reply
you
to
back.
You see, it's funny because you guys will say that, and women hate when they just get hey or whatever.
Just send me a meme.
Oh yeah, like send me like a
send me
meme
a
or
meme.
something.
I used to
Like,
send a gif of like
Yeah.
hi or something.
Like, I don't
but-
mind those. Those are great.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. So women hate when they, from what I've heard, women hate when it's just hey from a guy.
Girls
But
do that shit
when
all
I'm
the
on
time.
Bumble, every first message from a girl is hey. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah,
come
girls
on.
totally hypocritical from some girls, but I genuinely try to say, hey, how's it going? Or I used to say, hey, how's it hanging?
Oh boy, that's an invite for a dick joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I was like, but that's not really what I'm looking for, so I'm gonna stop doing that
Yeah.
because like it's just gonna send mixed messages, mixed signals. So
All right, got one more question for you guys before we wrap everything up, and yeah, just want to know if you guys have one piece of advice for everybody listening. What's one piece of advice you like to give about dating?
stick to your guns.
Yeah.
Like if you're not there to hook up, as I don't follow my own advice and I'm trying to now, but stick to your guns. If you're not there to hook up, do not hook up with them. Save yourself, like that. If they're
Until
really
marriage.
pushing you,
For Jesus.
just
Oh yeah.
if they're really pushing you to hook up, just like walk away because it's not even worth it at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
You might not even enjoy it if you weren't into it.
well, if someone's going to put you in an uncomfortable situation like that, you know, that's not going to be a good situation later on, you know?
Exactly. So.
What about you? Any advice for the thousands upon thousands of millions and millions of people that could potentially listen to this?
Can y'all send me some advice? Because like I
Help a
don't know.
girl out.
Well, I mean, it is called Dating is Hard,
Yeah,
so
it
we
is.
all could use
It
some
is
advice.
hard.
So any kind of wisdom that you could share, go for it.
Oh yeah, don't lie about your height.
Oh yeah, don't
Please.
do that.
That's a big one. for-
Because honestly,
for
we can
ladies.
like myself actually. I can be on Bumble, and I could guess their height like within a few inches, like an inch or two from
Just
their
from
actual
pictures?
height, and then I can click on their profile and see and like, oh yeah, he is that tall just from a picture. So when a guy says, oh, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm like, you're 5'11", sir. Like, I can tell. Like,
Yeah.
and I think I'm weird because I know I can do that, but
Wow.
other
Oh,
girls
I don't have that
have
problem.
been height fished.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that problem because usually when I like meet a guy, like I'm taller than them anyway. Like
Is
my
that
type
not
of
a
guy.
thing for you? Not a deal breaker?
It's not.
Height isn't
like,
a deal breaker
It's
for me.
not.
Yeah, I think you're one of the few. A lot of
Yeah, a lot of
it's
people.
lot
Yeah,
of
I
deal
hear that
breakers.
a lot too. Like a lot of people think height is like a really important.
Okay,
thing.
so
To
height
me,
is
it's
important
not.
to me.
You remember that fucking the bagel guy? That viral video with the guy in the bagel store
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
5 feet tall, and he's like, "Fucking women on dating apps.
Yeah.
Sarah
But-
should kill myself."
Okay, but the reason it's important to me is because I'm 5'8",
yeah.
so like when I wear heels, I'm like 6 feet tall,
Mm-hmm.
and also because when I lived in Hawaii, I like hooked up with a guy, and we were on the beach, and I was like standing like holding onto tree branches, and and then
Okay.
he was like hitting it from the back, and I like look back towards him, and he's like on his tippy toes. And it just looks so goofy to me. So like ever since then, it's like I'll start laughing like I did then. Like, and then he'll think I'm laughing at him, and then it's just like it kills the mood. So like now it's just like I prefer to date taller guys to not see them on their tippy toes like that.
Because then you just kind of like, you get that flashback of being not able to reach something when you're a kid, and you're like, "Mom, let me pick you up."
No, that's not even it. No, for me it was flashbacks of seeing like a smaller male dog trying to mount a bigger dog.
Oh god, that's even more embarrassing. Somehow it's a different species, and I feel like even worse. So.
Yeah, so that is why height is important to me. So yeah, just don't lie about your height, because when you show up to the date, the girl's gonna know, and then like it's not cool because they're gonna feel awkward. They obviously have that standard, and it
Yeah.
sucks, but you gotta respect that as well.
Yeah.
Like people are into what they're into, you gotta respect that. Like just go on to the next.
You know what's funny? So I'm 6'4", and I used to on my profile, I wouldn't have my height listed, but I would write in the profile, go, don't worry, I'm definitely taller than you. And still, people were persistent where they're like, so you're quote unquote definitely taller than me, so how tall are you? I'd be like, don't worry about it. And they're like, no, but seriously.
No, because some guys will say that, but then I'll meet up with them and they're like my height. Because they don't, like, I used to not have my height on there either.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes they'd be my height. And then it's like, yeah, you're not tall enough for me, dude. Like,
you know what's funny
right
is
here.
A couple times I had my height actually on there, and I matched with people, and the girl would be like, you're too tall. Like, what? I've never
heard that
literally
before.
never heard that in my life.
I've never heard that
This
before.
one girl, I swear to God, she was like 5'1" or something. She was like, yeah, we just look fucking stupid walking down the street together.
No, it does look funny though. It looks like it looks like she'd be your little keychain or something, like, you know. Oh, also, since we're talking about like catfishing or like height fishing or whatever,
Sure, yeah.
dick fishing. Don't fucking send pictures of dicks that aren't yours. Like,
People do that?
Yep.
yes,
Yeah.
people do that.
Wow.
People do that.
I've gotten
And
a
the
match.
worst-
Have you
from
like called out before?
I've literally gotten a match from 2 different guys, and they used the same
dick pic.
picture.
Yeah, I know.
What?
And I was like, what? Like, this, you guys cannot be just mad. What are you, twins? Like, what's
Alright.
happening?
I guess
Also-
I'll just stop sending black dicks.
No, it does happen. And the worst part is this one time a guy sent me a dick pic, and it was from a porn that I actually used to watch a lot. So, like, I recognized the dick from the
porn.
porn that I, like,
Wow, you're
watch
really a
often.
student of porn, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
no, that's Johnny Sins.
Exactly, like, I know that dick. I've seen that dick plenty of times on my screen. Like, so that's definitely an issue that we...
All right, no height fishing, no dick fishing.
No dick fishing either,
Also,
no.
don't be creeps. Like, there's a lot of guys that think that it's okay to just upfront be creeps.
And don't send the same messages to multiple girls. I once got the same exact little paragraph, word for word, sent to me and my best friend.
Wow, like what?
And then we
what was
both-
the message?
I don't even remember. It was like, hey, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, and I just feel like we vibe very well, and blah, blah, blah. And it was like a long message, and like, had my friend not gotten it too, I would have replied to it.
Oh my god.
But like, cause I appreciate when guys send more than hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I would have actually responded, but she got the same one. So like, we both sent him the same exact message, word for word.
He's probably like, whoa, this
Like,
is
what the
crazy.
fuck? Yeah.
I've been had. All right, well, this is the awkward part that I think I was talking to you about before. If you guys want to say your Instagrams or something, if not, don't worry about it. But, you know, I'm always talking to comedians, and they're always trying to pimp their shit, where they're just like, yeah, follow me on Twitter. I got the best dick jokes, the best takes on all the current events and all this stuff. So I'm used to coming from that world. So if you want people to, like, follow you or something, if not, say no.
I mean, you could follow me if you want. You're not going to see anything interesting. You know, my Instagram handle is Daisy B. Benson. Like, so don't expect anything crazy on there.
Don't slide into DMs with dick pics.
Yes, don't slide in them DMs with dick pics, okay? Unless you want me to be very harshly honest, and I'll probably tell you you have a small penis.
You have a weird misshapen cock.
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, see, your shaft to head ratio is a little off. You know, your girth to length also a little all right. Like,
Some famous kind of like a porn star or something that I was following on Instagram for a bit. She actually had a call to action of like, go ahead, send me your dick pics, because apparently she gets them all the time, and then she would just critique every one. She posted them in her story and was like, your dick is blah 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 blah, you look like blah 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 blah. And it was like,
I would do
wow.
that if more people like, I'd probably put them on blast like that too.
Yeah.
Also, if you're into that, like, you know,
Yeah,
if you want to
like
pay
dick
me to do
shaming?
that,
Yeah.
go ahead. I will talk all of the shit.
Any last words for you, Rose, or are you all good?
I'm good. My social media is not that great.
Mine isn't either.
So, like,
that's why I'd be prepared to be disappointed.
yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you coming on and meeting me and chatting with me for a little bit.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
It was fun.
Awesome. Cool. And that is that, everybody. Thanks for listening. That was my little chat with Rose and Daisy. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. If you want to follow all the updates about the podcast, follow us on us. It's just me running this whole ship as of right now. Just go on Instagram. It's at Dating is Hard Comedy. If you want updates about me and when my shows are, you can follow me on Instagram at Joe Welkie, or go to joewelkie.com and get all of that information. The Dating is Hard live show is every fourth Wednesday at Pack Theater at 9:30. It's a by donation show, so if you can afford to throw some dollars the theater's way, that is highly appreciated. If not, guess what? You can still come, still enjoy the show. It's a total blast. I love it every time I do it. Yeah, that's a wrap for that episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. Like it, share it, tell your friends to listen, give it a good review on all of those podcast sites, and yeah, please help me grow this thing. Tell all your friends, subscribe, all that good shit that helps get the podcast going. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Bye.